Peace to everyone. I wonder how many of you remember this guy, Chris Watts. He killed his pregnant wife and his daughters a long time ago, and now he's doing 5 life sentences for the murder that he had done. Sitting in a Colorado prison, Chris Watts recalled feeling confused and having no plans after killing his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. So he's sitting there confused, thinking about, and he had no plans of doing it, but obviously he did. In a nearly 5 hour interview with law enforcement officials, Watts opened up about his state of mind in the weeks and months leading up to his conviction and revealed that moved him to plead guilty for his crimes. So he opened up to the interview and in the law enforcement officials about what he has done, and he did plead guilty to it. The interview was recorded last month, but wasn't made public until Thursday. Whoa, so that went a little kind of weird. The interview was recorded, it wasn't public until Thursday and went public after that. Watts, 33, killed his pregnant wife, Shannon, 34, and their 2 children, Bella, 4, and Chelsea, 3, in August before disposing of their bodies at a secluded oil field where he worked. Colorado prosecutors said he strangled his wife with his bare hands, suffocated the children, and loaded them in his vehicle and drove away to hide their remains. So he killed his pregnant wife Shannon and their 2 daughters Bella and Chelsea or Celeste or whatever name that is. And I'm sorry that I can't pronounce names right, so don't judge me on that. So he took them to where he worked at, and he killed them there. He pleaded guilty to the killings and is serving 5 life sentences after prosecutors and Shannon's family agreed to drop the possibility of the death penalty. Wow, I mean, drop the possibility of death penalty? Well, eh. But he's not getting no parole, that's for sure. Here's what we've learned from the interview. Okay, so we're going to see what the interview had said. Watts hadn't planned the killings and had not thought about what he would do next. He said he was not some criminal mind type. How can you not be some kind of middle criminal mind type when you killed your pregnant wife and the daughters? That's kind of weird. I had no idea what was going to happen after everything. I mean, I don't even know how I was acting even normal to people that I was around, he told investigators last month. Also, he didn't know how he was going to feel around other people. Uh-huh. Well, he did what he did, and now he's got to serve 5 life sentences, and you know he's going to rot there until the day he dies. He felt like he was not in control of his actions and was surprised anybody could understand him when he was speaking. So nobody really could understand him when he was speaking. Well, yeah, that's kind of crazy, but nothing was right, he said. It was just like a reaction of something that wasn't even thinking about. Oh, so he's trying to say he wasn't thinking about it, but you know, when you've got things going on in your head, then something snaps, and then that's what happened. A few weeks after his arrest, Watts told his attorneys he had killed his family and said he wanted to plead guilty in court. Well, so he pleaded guilty in court like he said he was going to do. And the family, I guess they were satisfied with that one. I didn't want my attorneys to lie for me for 2 or 4 years, he said. How can you not? Oh my gosh, I don't know. He didn't want the lawyers to lie for him. Really? Oh, first of all, lawyers are crooks too. He didn't want people to relive their pain, or be obligated to travel back to Colorado several times. If we can end this, let's end it, he recalled telling his attorneys. If there is any closure, they can have it right then instead of 2022 because it was only get worse for everybody. So he's allowing the family to have closure instead of waiting on of 2022, and it is going to get worse for the family because they're grieving about what happened to Shannon and her daughters. He denied for days that he was involved in his daughter's killings and told police he saw his wife smothering their two daughters according to court documents. So how can you blame your wife and telling these people or told the police that he was smothering or she was smothering their daughters? Really? Something's a little fishy there. When asked by officials last month, Watts said he hadn't considered blaming his wife until he spoke to police. Honestly, I never even thought about the story until you guys mentioned it, he said. I just went for it. Oh, so he just went for it, but yet he told the police that his wife smothered their daughters. Really? What's wrong with this? He thought his mother and his sister would probably believe his story, he said, because they just really never killed Shannon, and some of their friends could believe that, too, because her personality was more dominant than his. Well, now he's saying that her personality was more dominant than his, and that she was more. I guess he's trying to say that she was controlling over him, but that's not the case because that was a lie, obviously. Watts said he took Shannon's wedding ring off her finger and put it on the counter when he returned home from disposing of the bodies. It's like, maybe she really actually wanted a divorce. Maybe she didn't want to fix it and just put it on the counter, he said. So he thought maybe, well, she wanted to divorce him because I guess he was a little violent, or I should say a whole lot violent than what she is, but she never even abused her daughter. So I don't know why he coming out lying saying this about his wife. He also mentioned that he took a therapy book that his wife wanted him to read and threw it in the trash. So his wife wanted her husband to read a therapy book, but he refused and just threw it in the garbage, saying, "Goodbye." If he had planned things better, he said, he would have taken his wife's cell phone to the oil site with him. When police searched their home, police found her cell phone between the cushions of a sofa. Dun dun dun. Yeah, the police had found her cell phone, they wanted to go see what's in it, and hopefully, and I guess maybe whatever they found something. Days after killing his family, Watts was questioned by investigators at the Frederick Police Department for a while and was given a polygraph test, which he failed. Oh boy, he failed every question that was asked of him. And there is no way you can manipulate the polygraph test because it never lies. It was horrible, he said. Like you would ask me questions for like 3 to 4 hours beforehand, and then you do the polygraph, and then it's like you break down some of my brain too much. It's like jello. Oh, so well, of course, he had to sit there through that 3 or 4 hour questioning, and knowing that he would fail, but because he's making up all these lies. He agreed to talk to officers that day, but when he arrived, he had a bad feeling. So we're not sure what kind of feeling he had, but he did talk to the officers. Walking in there that day, just walking into that room, I knew I wasn't walking out, he said. Well, he got that right, he wasn't walking out, because after that lie detector test, which he failed, yeah, you're going to go right to the jail cell. Watts appeared on a local Colorado newscast as a concerned father, pleading for the return of his family a week before he was arraigned in court on multiple charges in their deaths. So he pretended to be a concerned father that wanted his family, but not knowing that they're never coming back. But he knew where they are. He knew what he did. But he didn't want to do media interviews. It was a friend of Shannon's who set them up. Oh, so a friend of Shannon's set them up and do the media interviews and everything. I felt like, they would have just kept knocking on my door until I answered it, he said. So, yeah, of course they're going to keep bothering him until he does answer the door. While a friend suggested he should not speak to reporters, he said, detectives told him that it was his decision. So I guess he decided he didn't want to talk to them. Detectives told him that it was his decision and everything else. He felt uncomfortable, and it was like I was just lying to more and more people. So yeah, he pretty much been lying to people and knowing that he was going to get caught sooner or later. And obviously, it was very uncomfortable for him to be lying. And of course, I don't know, they got this correction thing here. I don't know why. So, whatever that reason is, I'm pretty sure you can figure that out. Anyway, I'm out.